exited the rear of the cabin, set off a smoke grenade, shot another deputy. Both those deputies, as I said, were airlifted, and one of them has died. What we're seeing right
Oh,
now,
wow. I didn't know one of the cops that Dorner shot in Big Bear died. Where's the volume?
For if the suspect, again, believed to be but not confirmed to
Oh, my
be
gosh.
Christopher Dorner, may or may not have hostages with him. And that's why tactical response is very limited. But now it's getting to be dark. That's going to create an entire new set of tensions. So this is very frustrating for people on the ground. This all began earlier, several hours ago, with a report of a carjacking. And it led to this. We have heard from a local reporter who was at the scene, and there was gunfire in the background, and it went on, Anderson, for at least 35 seconds.
we had a press conference from the LAPD just a short time ago. Here's some of what they said.
Today at about 12:22 p.m., San Bernardino sheriffs were in the hunt for Christopher Dorner up in the Big Bear area. They received a call of a stolen vehicle in the 1200 block of Club View Drive. When they responded there, they received information from the person reporting that this stolen vehicle was stolen by an individual that appeared to be very similar to Christopher Dorner. They immediately conducted a ground and an air search for this vehicle, and they were able to locate it at Highway 38 and Glass Road, where the suspect in the vehicle fled into the forest. Shortly thereafter, this individual barricaded himself in one of the cabins there, and an exchange of gunfire occurred. During that exchange of gunfire, 2 officers were injured. They've been airlifted to a local hospital. Right now, their condition is unknown. Well, everyone is very hopeful that this thing ends without any further bloodshed. We hope we can take this guy into custody, and we hope that he doesn't hurt anybody else. We hope none of these officers was seriously injured, which we don't know at this point. The best thing for him now would be to surrender and allow us to take him into custody, and he can face the criminal justice system. There's a tremendous sense of apprehension among our officers here, concern about the officers that are up there, and until this guy's in handcuffs and until he's in custody, none of the people in our department are going to rest.
And hopefully that is the outcome. No more killing about Mr. Dorner. If that is who's in the cabin, again, it has not been completely confirmed. He gets brought in, gets his chance at justice as well, because simply that's the way the system should work. Now, the reporting shows us that earlier today, just to show how coordinated the response has been by law enforcement, state, local, federal officials, but the officers who may have initially spotted the suspect today were Fish and Wildlife, and we're joined by Andrew Hunan of Fish and Wildlife. He's a public information officer. Mr. Hunan, what can you tell us?
Good afternoon. The best reports that we have is that that's in fact true, that the first contact with who we believe to be Mr. Dorner was a game warden from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife on a road in
forest, and any cars that are coming out, they are searching. They're stopping and searching the trunks, and talk about a nerve-wracking position for law enforcement, knowing that there's somebody potentially trying to sneak his way through there that has them in the crosshairs. A very difficult, a very tense situation, as Commander Smith with LAPD mentioned at his press briefing an hour ago. No one, certainly in their department, is going to stand down and rest or even blink until this individual is in custody.
You know, they've had over 1,000 tips that have come in, tips and clues. They're still working those as well, even as this situation goes on over there in Seven Oaks.
Past those police lines. That's the very latest from here. I'll send it back to you in studio.
Leticia, thank you for that report. Now we want to check in with Carlos Grande. He's been standing by at police headquarters in downtown Los Angeles. Of course, Dorner, a former LAPD cop. Carlos?
An hour ago to give us an update on what they know, and they stressed that they don't have too much information because what they're getting is all from San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. They stress San Bernardino County Sheriff's is the lead agency that is working on this, but caught them by surprise. So when we first saw this unfolding and we were beginning to report what was happening there, the command staff here were upstairs watching the coverage, really getting the information from us, from the media, watching it as it continues to unfold. I must also tell you that there's also...
Can you hear me? Just checking with Gigi Graciette. We noticed that they were just letting they let a couple of trucks go by, some cars go by just before we began to speak with Jack Tremarco from the FBI, formerly with the FBI. Do we have Gigi?
We've apparently lost
All right,
contact
we
Don't
there.
have
we've lost her,
Gigi.
so we'll go back to her in just a second.
Let's go
Just checking to see if there's a...
back.
The news is after people. When you involve law enforcement, obviously their emotions are higher. And now we're having all of the kind of, misidentifications and people getting hurt. And we don't blame law enforcement. I don't think any of the people do. We just want it to be over because...
No more loss of life. And one footnote. It is clear from the command staff here they hope to be able to apprehend Christopher Dorner alive. That is their hope, that there will be no more bloodshed.
Tell you from the Fish and Wildlife point of view.
Has Fish and Wildlife been a coordinated part of this investigation once it was learned that the suspect may be in the area that is somewhat remote and somewhat in that jurisdiction?
It's my understanding they asked us to come in this weekend because of our local knowledge, and we're happy to do that.
All right, thank you very much. Officer Heunen, we appreciate the information. It's great to hear that your deputies involved left it unheard. Thank you for the information. Please let us know if anything else comes up.
And again, it has been a very dynamic situation just over this last several hours, and a situation which shows no sign of letting up as darkness begins to come to that area.
And he isn't saying things that are remotely like the Travis she's testified about,
Talking
the really
about the
bad guy who's
fences.
beating the hell out of her and abusing her in all sorts of ways. This is terrible for the defense, but let me be clear.
Law enforcement by local, state, federal law enforcement as well. Chris Welch is joining us now. Chris, where are you?
Well, we are on the other side of the mountain where we were on earlier. Big Bear proper, Big Bear the city, and the ski resort we were talking about where he stole this car. We are now on the opposite side of that mountain. So basically, we took Highway 38 around, and I'm going to show you. We came down from this way, down this road, and we were basically stopped here. This is where they're stopping all media and all traffic at this point because it is just about 2.5 miles down.